The time has come to reach out to the Klingon Empire and the United Federation of Planets for official recognition. Now we've secured a home on Dewa 3, the Romulan Republic has taken a step towards becoming an individualized power. Ideally, we'd like to secure alliances with both these other powers, thus remaining neutral in the Klingon Federation war. Leaning too heavily to one side may alienate the other and drag us into the conflict, something we can barely support. The Romulan Star Empire will be at these talks too, to defend their sovereignty over what it sees as its citizens acting out. These talks will be taking place on Khitomer, and Commander Vrina will brief us in full.
We've made a breakthrough. We can't lay claim to Dewa 3 and make it our new home without allies. The planet is close to Klingon space, although they've never formally claimed it. If we could get their support, or that of the Federation, we would be able to break away from the Romulan Star Empire without worrying what the Tal Shair will do. Datan has been working for weeks to get the Klingons and the Federation to agree to talks. Now representatives from both factions will be at Khitomer to hear our proposal, and so will the Empress. I want you there as well. I think we'll need someone like you on our side. It won't be easy, but this is our best chance to create a new life and a new home.
Khitomer has a long history as a meeting point between the galactic governments, being located on the border of Klingon, Romulan and Federation space, although these lines have changed a bit with time. Back in 2293, the historic Klingon Federation Treaty was signed at Khitomer amid assassination attempts and espionage, thanks to the actions of the crew of the USS Enterprise. In 2346, the Romulans managed to take Khitomer from the Klingons with orbital bombardment that resulted in casualties numbering 78% of the planet's Klingon population. The survivors included the House of Mull, who were then used as a scapegoat to cover the House of Duras's actions in providing the Romulans with their way in.
Khitomer. This place has some bad blood. Back in 2346, the Romulan military launched a massive attack that slaughtered all the Klingon colonists here and took the planet. The Klingons took it back in the chaos after Shinzon's rebellion. This is the first time since then that they've allowed Romulans to be here. We should be careful. The Klingons aren't going to be in a great mood. Just having us here will be a reminder of what's happened. Datan is waiting for us with the rest of the Romulan diplomats in the Hall of Conquest.
In 2382, the Klingons managed to retake Khitomer by force, using the wake of Shinzon's rebellion to seize it from the distracted Romulan Empire. The Federation disapproved of its allies' actions, and the matter of whether or not to take action against the Klingons is called into vote. Ultimately, the Federation decides not to pursue censure against the Klingons, however the very fact that it was even considered was enough to sour relations. Chancellor Martok's attempts to placate his own people earn him scorn as a Starfleet apologist, and eventually he is pressured to vacate all Federation citizens from Khitomer, and the Enterprise E aids in the evacuation in the final mission undertaken by Jean-Luc Picard as captain of the Enterprise. His negotiations bought more time for the citizens. Since then, Khitomer has been considered a Klingon world. Since the eruption of the new Klingon War, Starfleet has been very cautious about taking steps to negotiate on what is technically Klingon ground, often suspecting ambushes and plots. The very fact that this meeting has been conceived at all is something of a minor miracle. Dotted around we see delegates from the Gorn, the Katians and the Orions, all at ease discussing the coming conference. The Klingons are going to be the real hard sell to win over here, though some who remember the Dominion War are more welcoming of the prospect of an alliance, remembering the prowess of the Romulan soldiers that they fought alongside. There are few Federation ambassadors scattered about, keeping stoically to themselves. This Vulcan here is even wearing combat boots and even seems to be armed. It seems much like the Romulan delegation, the Federation officers are unwilling to step too far beyond their assigned compound.
Chamber of Conquest. Let's hope one day the Klingons turn their attention to the Tal Shair.
The ambient dialogue from the Klingons is mixed, but the majority seem unwilling to aid the Republic. Some even wish to simply attack us. Let's find Datan and our assigned area before some unthinking Klingon acts on their impulses. In the eastern hall of the Chamber of Conquest we can find our delegation, Commander Khitomer, Titan, and a small Republic escort. Not too far from us is a trio of Star Empire officers. Not a good sign that the Klingons have lumped all the Romulans together. Approaching our colleagues we can speak to Khitomer, who voices his appreciation that we're here, and then we can talk to Titan.
It's good to see a friendly face. The air here is a bit tense right now. I need to stay here and prepare for Empress Sela's arrival, which I'm sure will not be pleasant. Could you speak with the Klingon and Federation delegations? See what they're thinking, get a feel for how the negotiations will go, and most importantly, try to convince them of our sincerity.
We can ask Titan here about his concerns regarding the current Klingon Federation war and how he thinks to overcome such an obstacle.
Both of them want to learn more about Romulan technology, and they're willing to do a great deal for us to acquire it. We will have to be careful not to get dragged into their war, however. We are already dealing with the Tal Shair, and that is more than enough. I believe both of them see us as a potential resource. While I'm not terribly happy about that, it is a way to get them to assist us. And until we are established on a world of our own, we need their help.
We can also ask Toven for his input.
I think we should do whatever we can to stop the Tal Shair. If that means making an alliance with Starfleet or the Klingons, fine with me. I would be worried about us getting dragged into their war, but I expect that they're both more interested in our cloaking designs than our people. I say we go with whoever is most willing and able to help us against the Tal Shair. That's all that really matters.
We must be careful not to let vengeance blind us in our attempts for freedom. In the meantime, I would ask you to speak with delegates from the Klingon Empire and the Federation. Just because an initial proposal has been presented does not mean the conference is over. Far from it. Any information you can get me about what they're thinking will help when it comes time to present our case.
I can see Toven's point. We need allies, and it might just be easier to throw our lot in with a single side. But Titan is playing a larger game here by trying to maintain our neutrality, which does risk upsetting both parties, though the potential gain would be a much greater prize. We set off to get a sense of opinion from the delegates on the floor. We enter the majestic and open Hall of Heroes, replete with statues commemorating heroic Klingons.
The Hall of Heroes. They're probably Klingon heroes who killed Romulans.
And we have Romulan heroes who killed Klingons. Difference is we're right though, because, we're Romulans. At some distance we can observe Ambassador Stas of the Gorn and Klingon Empire towering over his aides.
I understand their stance, but still, there are issues. The would-be Romulan Republic is weak and fractured. How could an alliance benefit us?
Well, let's see if we can convince him otherwise. Hey, he's big, he's pointy teeth. Hi, don't eat me.
Ah, one of the Titan's followers. Greetings. I am Ambassador Stas, representative for the Klingon Empire. I am curious, what exactly does your group have to offer the Klingons in an allegiance? The Titan is no warrior, and Klingon politics have little in common with Romulan machinations.
We can choose to accept his question as a perceived challenge. However, Stas himself isn't a Klingon and we might run the risk of upsetting him, so instead we'll explain our struggles against the Tal Shair.
You do have a point. The fact that you've survived this long against the Tal Shair says something about your people. However, it does not say whether or not you are in the right in this civil war of yours, or if this is just an elaborate Romulan plot. We shall see just how trustworthy you are in the days to come.
I would call him paranoid, but the Star Empire has been known to conduct extremely elaborate and dedicated plans to place infiltrators and gain trust before. It's going to be very difficult to overcome that stereotype.
Diplomacy makes for thirsty work. The Federation ambassador can't hold his teeth together for more than a minute. The Vulcan just stares daggers at everyone. Half my delegation are a breath away from ripping into the Starfleeters like rampaging togs, and we're all stuck in here with you backstabbing greenbloods. Oh, did I offend you? Well, get used to it. We don't have a reason to trust you yet, and I don't know if we ever will.
Yay, the Klingon ambassador's insulting us. That's a great start. Hopefully it's all just part of Klingon bluster and bravado. I'm gonna get this cranky Varul a drink.
Ah, blood wine. At least you have some manners. Nice to know that you all aren't as ill-bred as the stories say.
Okay, watch your words, Voldan. I don't appreciate being spoken to like that.
Ah, there's some strength in you. I like that. Perhaps you would be a valuable ally. But just because you know when to bring a Klingon a drink does not mean we are friends. I'm keeping an eye on you and your kind.
That's the point, you moron.
The Klingons don't seem too thrilled with the idea of being allies. Maybe we'll have better luck with the Federation.
Yeah, the Federation's got a reputation for being far more agreeable and, let's be honest, kind of weak-willed.
I know your kind too well to ever trust what you say. I will not be taken in by your attempts to be disarming.
Oh. Well, shit. You do realise we're being hunted and persecuted by the Tal Shair and our own government?
It has yet to be determined if anyone is being hunted. If that is the case, Starfleet will take the appropriate action within the bounds of the Prime Directive. I have spent more than 3 decades defending the Federation from Romulan plots. I have seen all of the tricks, the deceptions, all of the treachery that is born of hubris. Romulans believe they are superior to all other species. That is incorrect. It will take a great deal of effort to deceive me. I suggest you do not try.
Well, that works out fine then, because this isn't a trap. Admiral Tenay isn't lying about her career either. She's stationed on Starbase 39 along the neutral zone, and it's to her that Federation players report to during the Romulan mystery story missions. Let's talk to the other ambassador.
One of our new potential allies. I am Jiro Sugihara, a representative of the Federation Diplomatic Corps. Let's talk, shall we? Yes, I'd love a chat. Now, please don't take the cool reactions of some of my colleagues as an indication of how the whole of the Federation feels. There is a history between our two governments. But I believe with some work, we can all come to a peaceful agreement. Don't you agree?
Yes, well, Datan was certainly here to address...
Of course you do. Of course. Why else would you and other fine and forward-thinking Romulans, such as Datan, be present here at this conference?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was us that asked for the whole...
Think of all of us, Federation, Klingon, and Romulans alike, as engineers. We're building bridges to a newer and brighter future. We're architects, designing load-bearing structures upon which we might build vital cooperative efforts.
I don't know much about
Before we get to the window dressing, of course, you know where we must begin.
Windowsill?
Why, with the foundations.
Right, yeah,
You knew that, of
Good.
course.
Okay.
There's nothing we cannot achieve if we're able to continue to sit down and discuss our differences. And bit by bit, measure by measure, work through them and learn from one another.
Yeah.
We must start fresh. So as one potential friend to another, I ask this entirely as a personal question.
No.
How do you feel about reunification?
Well, I think...
I know there are a lot of people in the Federation still opposed to it, but I am certain that if we simply sit down together and discuss the issue rationally, we can...
It's about now we're presented with the option to just walk away from the conversation.
We've all come to see that reunification is a wonderful idea, isn't it? Bringing long-lost brothers back together and mending hurts from so long ago.
Such a tragedy.
That's what the Romulans and Vulcans are, don't you think? A family divided. It's a shame. I think of my daughter.
Alpha.
She's a lovely girl. Takes after her mother in many respects. She's on Bajor now, but I love seeing her as much as possible. I couldn't imagine how dreadful being separated from her would be. But that's what Romulans and Vulcans must feel all the time. That's why I believe reunification...
The architecture in here is unmistakably Klingon. I wonder if the Romulans tore all of this down when they occupied the planet for a good 40 years or so. It would be kind of strange for them to leave it all up. Though maybe they did as some sort of trophy. It's either that or the Klingons were remarkably fast at rebuilding it all and re-establishing everything that they had. I wonder what they rebuilt first. The bar. It's got to have been the bar, you know, with all the blood wine. I can't imagine Klingons doing any construction without at least like 8 barrels of blood wine. I wonder what that tastes like. Maybe I should go get some. Sorry I'm late.
Jolan True, what do you have to report?
Sugihara's life story.
There's doubt everywhere. We will have to be careful not to...
This conference is a farce.
Sela!
You're not trying to found a settlement. You're rebelling against your sovereign. You're stirring up dissent with your wild stories of mysterious aliens and colony attacks.
Wild stories?
Until now, I gave your little movements some leeway because I thought I could convince you to see the error of your ways. This ridiculous conference shows me I've been far too forgiving.
You? How could you?
Tovin! That's enough! You two, please leave this to Tamer and me.
Okay, we should leave. Tovin, come on.
Unbelievable. How can that woman stand there and deny everything? If you ask me, the only thing worse than the Tal Shair is the politician who lies for them. There should be no allegiance with such... Hold on. We're getting a message from the ship.
Oh, thank God, a crisis.
We're picking up odd ships on sensors. Ships that match the one we scanned back when the colony was destroyed. Good. Now they'll have to deal with us, the Klingons, and the Federation.
We ask our ship to inform the Klingons that they may have uninvited guests, and we beam back to our ship.
The Klingon command base has ordered us to remain in orbit and leave the defense of Khitomer to them.
You're doing it again?
However, I'm certain that the singularity signature I'm detecting is the same ship that was in orbit of Vrina during the attack. This could be the person responsible for the destruction of the colony. Do we investigate, despite the Klingons' objections?
I mean, I wanted him to lower his tone, but that's just taking the mick. In essence, though, in case you were as distracted as I was by the sudden change in actor, we're going to take matters into our own hands despite the Klingons telling us not to.
I'm picking up multiple anomalies in the area, but the Klingons are still ignoring them. We should investigate them, and be prepared for whatever happens. Keep an eye out for Klingon ships. If any hostiles appear, they'll show up too. If we're lucky, they'll target the enemy and not us.
Honestly, I'm glad to be out of there. I don't envy Datan's next few hours, especially dealing with Empress Sela. I'd much rather be up here, where it feels like at least I can actually do something and accomplish something. We make a beeline for the nearest reading, and an invasive scan reveals our skepticism to be well-founded.
The Alachi were hiding the Tal Shair ship.
The Alachi was masking the warbirds somehow, whatever it was. Thanks to our prior experience with the Alachi, we spotted it where the Klingons failed.
This is a matter for the Klingon Empire.
The IKS Kang wastes no time in defending its space, captained by Gerard, descending on the revealed warbird as we engage our foe together. Let's hope the Klingons don't assume this to be part of a Republic plot. Using the asteroid to break the line of sight with the enemy, we cloak our small warbird to close in and launch a surprise attack. It's actually rather tempting just to sit here and let them duke it out. But I suppose we should be trying to set an example of cooperation, so instead we'll just wait for an opening in the Tal Shair's shields and add our heavy plasma torpedoes and disruptors to the fight.
I am Gerard, son of Lursa, captain of the IKS Kang. You have proven yourself in battle against one of these ships. I will ensure that you will survive to prove yourself again. I was the first to uncover the alien Undine within the Klingon Empire.
Now, I shall be the first to combat this new alien threat. To battle!
Nothing like fighting beside a Klingon to earn their respect. Gerard will wait for the Daera to uncover the hidden vessels before engaging with them. Whatever tech the Alachi are using seems to be effective against Klingon scanners, but not ours. This vessel hid 2 ships, one a Mogai warbird and one a Tavaro. We take out the smaller vessel while Gerard engages the larger of the Tal Shair threats. We locate another signal, trace it back, and uncover the cycloptic head of the Tal Shair himself.
Why am I not surprised that you were the one who discovered us? I'm quite happy you did, though. Now I have a chance to rectify the mistakes of Gasco Station. Captain Gerard, you have no place in this fight between us. This is a Romulan affair.
Captain Gerard?
Colonel Hakim, you came into sovereign Klingon territory with hostile intent. You brought these aliens into our space. Now, you have the unmitigated goal to try to give orders to a Klingon warrior? This is not a Romulan affair anymore, Colonel. You have insulted me, and you will pay the price.
Never insult a Klingon if you're not prepared to deal with the consequences, Akiv.
I don't care if you have 100 Klingon ships. You will not stop me.
Okay, look, there's Romulan arrogance, and then there's just this guy. Akiv has completely bastardized his warbird, the IRW Kinal, with extensive Borg modifications. No doubt the research of the Tal Shair's obsessive delving into Borg secrets. Even the tractor beam emitters have taken on a Borgish tone. We'll start by taking out his escort, the Tavaro Light Warbird, before engaging Hagiv properly. It does have a powerful shockwave ability that can force us back if we get too close, but fighting alongside the IKS Kang, one of the Klingons' most prestigious ships, we stand a strong chance of defeating him. He flees, but not before telling us he's completed his mission.
You fought well. My people will learn of Colonel Hakim's attack on my vessel. That I can promise you. I will also tell them of your abilities in battle. However, Hakim did not die, so I cannot rule out the possibility that this was all a Romulan trick. My ship will continue to patrol the area. You should return to the conference.
It would have been more convincing if we'd been able to kill Akiv, true. Still, having one of the respected captains on our side should help matters later.
Akiv beamed something down to the surface before he warped. I think? Yes, we're getting confirmation. He beamed explosives down to Khitomer. We've got to get down there and disarm them before anyone finds out. Even a hint of a problem like this, and the conference will be shut down. We'll lose our best chance for colonization.
What is your status? I'm in the Hall of Heroes now, and things are underway. Did you handle the situation with the Alachi?
Yes, but it seems they may have made us some unwanted deliveries to Khitomer.
This is not good. It will be too easy for any disturbance to be blamed on us, and Hakim knows it. I'll start searching the Hall of Heroes. Contact me once you've found all of the explosives on your end. I'll do my best to discreetly look for anything amiss over here.
Understood.
Make sure the Klingons do not find the bombs first. If they do, there's a good chance we'll be seeing one another soon, in a jail cell.
Hear that, Toven? Fly casual. It seems that in order to prevent the Klingons from thinking we're sneaky Romulans, we're going to have to be sneaky Romulans. We're able to find and disarm the first device relatively close to where we beamed in. The second device is located under the bench that seats a Starfleet officer we noted on the way in. Suddenly the incorrect attire and isolated location makes sense. It's not a Vulcan official but a Tal Shair spy.
Tal Shair had spies here the entire time.
I thought it strange that there were several Vulcans straying so far from the Federation Hall. We're able to disarm the device quickly and move on before we're discovered. It does on appearance look like we just disrupted a Federation diplomat. And by the time we'd been accosted and had this all sorted out, it'd be too late. We best hurry on. I think I remember seeing another Vulcan at the base of this statue. Yeah, there he is, and by his feet another strange device. We'll have to take him out quickly. Are we good? Did anybody hear that? No? Okay, quickly, let's disarm this and move on. We find our third Tal Shair operative lounging in the bar next to the final bomb. That was less quiet.
Did you get the explosives? Good. That's a relief. I found a bomb near one of the statues in the back of the hall. I should be able to confirm that these devices were made by the Tal Shair once the conference is over. It will be more proof that they cannot be trusted. Why don't you come inside the conference? The Klingons are about to speak. It should be interesting to hear what they have to say.
Though even if we can prove that the Tal Shair are moving to destabilise the quadrant, it doesn't quite exonerate us as being innocent. Though it does lend some credence to our story.
In conclusion, think about how many times we've been fooled by Romulans. Sela already sent the Tal Shair to attack us here. Who is to say Titan is not part of her plan? We must not allow this alliance to happen.
Hakeem!
Treacherous Greenblood!
Stay back!
What do you think you're doing? What? What are you?
Remember this.
He gave his life for me. For a Klingon.
Commander? Oh, crap. Gotta get over there quickly. Get out of the way. That device seems to have vaporized our commander. While security teams sweep the rest of Khitomer, we can talk to the ambassadors. We'll start with the man whose life Khitomer saved, Walden.
Khitomer died with honor. When my time comes, I hope I can do the same. His sacrifice showed me that we have a common enemy. The blood in your veins may be green, but you fight for your people with the courage of a Klingon. I would be proud to give my aid to you and Titan. We will hunt the Tal Shair like the dogs they are.
I think being compared to a Klingon is praise. We probably shouldn't say that out loud, not after what just happened. Instead, we should thank him and go speak to the Federation ambassador.
Khitomer's sacrifice will be remembered. I promise you that. Personally, I have never liked the Tal Shair, but we of the Diplomatic Corps are always committed to trying to find peaceful solutions first. But we can help you in your fight to bring justice to the Tal Shair if you accept our assistance. We know you have much to do to build a new homeworld and free your people. The Federation wants to be your ally in everything.
We can thank the ambassador for his conclusion. Honestly, the Federation was always more likely to help than the Klingons. And lastly, we'll have to speak to Khitomer's friend, Titan.
Khitomer's death will not be in vain. Now we have the opportunity to secure our future. The Federation looks favorably upon our endeavors, but it will take time for them to commit. Now Khitomer has shown the Klingons that there is honor and nobility among us. We may not have gotten what we wanted today, but I foresee a day where we will build a home and a life on New Romulus.
It's rather cold of him to spin it into a positive advantage so quickly.
The next step must be yours. Both Starfleet and the Klingon Defense Force have agreed to take Romulans into their forces. I'd like you to be the first. You will be our eyes, ears, and hands in their fleets. More importantly, you will be our voice. Where you serve is your choice, but wherever you go, always remember that you are Romulan.
So part of this neutrality is an exchange of forces?
If you haven't done so already, speak with the representatives of the Federation and the Klingon Empire. Then take some time to think it over. When you are ready, speak with Subcommander Nadell back on the flotilla.
Khitomer gave his life so that we would be understood by the others. I know I won't forget this. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to take down the Tal Shair, so I'm with you on this, no matter what. The ship is awaiting our return whenever you're ready. We need to report to Subcommander Nadell and let her know everything that's happened.
Beaming back to our old warbird, we've set a course for the flotilla, as Titan remains to iron out details with Ambassadors Waldan and Sugihara. Khitomer served to pointedly illustrate the danger of the Tal Shair and the lengths we, the Republic, will go to defeat them. Klingons respect sacrifice and heroics, while more pragmatic and realistic with their approach to things, so does the Federation. Titan was able to turn this tragedy into a positive light and use it to emphasise that recognising the Republic as a separate power from the Star Empire, the one that is open to cooperation with both the Federation and the Klingons, would benefit all involved. Although Khitomer was a close friend of Titan, he faces his loss with a stoicism and control that would have made any follower of Surak proud. I'm sure he'll grieve in his own time in private. Part of the agreement, it seems, is to place Romulan officers within Starfleet and the Klingon Defence Force in an exchange of personnel. I guess such an action effectively negates the possibility that the Republic would turn on the Klingons or the Federation if it risks its own people. Alongside this, we can forge ties of our own within these two powers.
Welcome back. I'm Subcommander Nadell. Khitomer's final actions impressed both the Klingons and the Federation. The time has come for you to decide who you will be allied with. Starfleet and the Klingons both have sent diplomats to stay here at the flotilla. Talk to them if you have any questions. Then speak to me when you are ready to make your choice.
Khitomer's sacrifice showed the High Council that we have a common enemy. And there is such a thing as an honorable Romulan. We honor his memory. Join us. The blood in your veins may be green, but you fight for your people with the courage of a Klingon. The Klingon Defense Force will be proud to give our aid to the Romulan Republic. Together, we will hunt the Tal Shair like the honorless dogs they are.
Everyone's calling the Tal Shair dogs. I like it.
Khitomer's sacrifice showed bravery and honor. We honor his act, and we will not forget it. The Prime Directive may tie our hands sometimes, but we recognize when reaching out will help the galaxy. We are ready to recognize the Romulan Republic as a legitimate government, free of the Romulan Star Empire. We can help your people. If you'll accept us as your allies, we'll gladly aid you in your fight against the tyranny of the Tal Shair. We know you have much to do to rebuild a new homeworld on New Romulus. Tell us what you need. We're ready to help you with construction and the relocation of any willing Romulans to their new home.
It now falls to the player to make a decision and join a faction. This dictates who they'll be able to side with in some multiplayer elements, but mostly which campaign your game will now follow, the Starfleet path or the Klingon path, at least until they join later on, but spoilers. So much of me wanted to side with the Federation as it's Starfleet. However, Vrina Terrell here is going to accept a posting in the Klingon Defence Force. I have already a Starfleet-sided Romulan character from ages before, and as a viewer, you'll get to see the Federation storyline through Temporal Agent Mark Hale anyway. Speaking of which, we will be picking up that story resuming shortly. And this way, at least there's always the option of jumping into the Klingon campaign with a familiar character, if that's something you want to see me do later on down the line. Once we've picked our faction, we can talk to our sub-commander.
Khitomer was a great man. He touched so many lives among the survivors, and I know he thought very highly of you. I can think of no better way to honor his commitment and sacrifice than by continuing to serve the Romulan people. On to business. The flotilla will be working on beginning settlement of Dewa 3, or what we're calling New Romulus. Good luck out there.
After some more ambling around, we're able to visit Molrihan, New Romulus, to see the progress that has been made in its colonisation. Datan is there to greet us, and we'll have to return to orbit and beam back down in order to accept our promotion to Centurion. Finally. We've made it! A home can be constructed on this planet, and what's more, it has official recognition from both the Federation and the Klingon Empire. It was a risky gamble that Datan was playing to try to maintain neutrality in the face of war, but he pulled it off. Though it cost Khitomer his life to bring the ambassadors in line. We were able to pick up a new vessel with our promotion, and with our ragtag crew, we are ready to begin our furthering journeys into the ever-expanding narrative of Star Trek Online. The Romulan beginning arc is one of the more polished experiences, and definitely where STO began to find its footing, I think. But for now, the next journeys are to rebuild New Romulus with the aid of the Federation. And I think I know a captain for the job. Until then, thanks for watching. And until next time, Jolan True, and goodbye.